What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Happy Friday, by the way. Let's get the weekend started here with the Hero's Path for Leo. Just joking. Anyways, guys, we do have the Hero's Path here, but this is not for Leonardo. It's for Granyt Doorkeep's Soul. Let's get it going here. So Granyt Doorkeep was the most recent fusion that we just had last week. And his soul is going to be up for grabs, starting with the 3-star, 4-star split, and the 5-star split here. So obviously, if you guys know what the souls are all about, you need the solid, perfect souls, and then you can apply the split souls to them. So you can't really bypass this 3-star unless you already have this 3-star already. Now, looking at this Hero's Path, we don't see, Primal Shard for a goodie. We see one mythical book, and then we see the red relics here, which is obviously a big prize. We have a 35,000 5-star soul here for Granyt. This is actually cheaper in terms of relative cost. 35,000 for a soul. Usually it's about, I want to say 50,000, and usually the champion is about 60,000. But 50,000 is the usual cost, so 35,000 here for Granit's 5-star soul. We have 2 mythical books up for grabs as well. We have a ton of keys. It looks super complicated, and we have a ton of Titan points, guys. In my recent videos, I was talking about how, hey, there's going to be 500 points split between the training event and the Hero's Path event. How is that possible? That seems quite ridiculous. And then the training event opened, and then there was only 100 points in the training event, and I was like, there's going to be 400 points in the Hero's Path. Is that right? Is that right? Am I missing something, guys? And lo and behold, we have 400 freaking Titan points in the Doorkeep's Path, and that is, I believe, a record. Here. So they did everyone pretty dirty by putting 400 points into this path. This is the make or break event for April O'Neil. Keep in mind that April O'Neil, if you want to get her, it's 1,500 Titan points, and you can only skip 250. So you must participate in this event to some degree. Now we'll do a full breakdown of everything here in just a second here. What are we doing for this Hero's Path? It's going to be dungeon diving, get accessories and artifacts, and summoning champions. So pulling shards. Pulling shards, not pulling fragments or anything like that. So it's going to be shard related. In terms of point breakdown here, we have 4,500 for the Sacred Shard, 1,800 for Primal, 750 for Void, 300 for Ancient, and 3 for Mystery Shards. Basically the standard stuff here, guys. No reduction, no relief or anything like that. Basically the standard stuff. And then we have for the gear, generally what I want to do is basically I'm going to use a 6-star rare and 5-star epic, basically the amount in between. And that's basically farming at a hard 10 level. You can use, this method is very, very general point calculations for these kind of dungeon diver requirement for these Heroes Path. But basically I use, like I said, 5 stars, so 31 points, and then 6-star rare, where is it? 6-star rare, 38 points. So I'll use the value in between, so about 35 points. So 35 points per, let's say 20 energy, and that gives you exactly what I estimated, and it's going to be 1.75 points per energy. So that gives you a rough breakdown of how much energy you need to get how many points. So now we need to figure out how many points we need and what we are trying to get. So first off, let's break down the different pathways here. So first of all, if you are still interested in going for April, you must get at least 150 Titan points from this event to still be in the running for April. And this is the path of least investment to still keep you in the running for April O'Neil. So obviously you can start at any potion, and then you get the basalt, I assume. If you don't want the basalt, I would say the coins are probably the other most valuable resource there. Most of them are obviously very low resource. And then we go straight down, and then we're going to pick up the 60 and the 100, which gives you 160. Like I said, you need at least 150 to still be in the running for everything. And this path is going to be 17,300 points. Like I said, this is the lowest investment path that you should take if you still want to get April O'Neil. But this also means that you need to complete every single event afterwards. So I would assume that there's probably going to be a Deck of Fate coming up probably next week. And we all know Deck of Fates are pretty nasty because in order to guarantee yourself to get all the points in the Deck of Fate, you must fully complete the Deck of Fate. Otherwise, you're leaving it up to chance to get the Titan points in the Deck of Fate. And this also opens you up to having to fully complete next week's summon event most likely. There's going to be a summon event at the end of the week, and that means you have to basically fully complete it for all of the Titan points, whatever the event is. So that's a little bit of mystery for you guys. Now, next week should be 2x Ancients. I just checked my notes, and the last 2x Ancient was the first week of September. So next week, I believe it should be 2x Ancient. So if you have a lot of Ancient shards, for example, that could contribute to you finishing off whatever summon event that's happening next weekend. And that might be your preferred route. Maybe you have no problem completing the summon event next weekend to get all the Titan points, or you rather take your shot on this summon event with this current structure instead. But to my knowledge, it's going to be 2x Ancient Shards next weekend. And it's also possible that Plarium does something really funky and does maybe 2x Primals next weekend as well. You never know. Something like that could really force your hand and force you to basically, hey, this is a really good event. I'm going to, spend some resources on it. So all of this you have to kind of keep in mind. But at the very minimum, this path, if you still want to keep in line with April, so 17,300 points. So divide by Sacred Shards, and we're looking at 3.8. So just under 4 Sacred Shards to stay in the running just for the Titan points. Now, like I said, this is going to cost you some energy if you want, and the conversion rate is 1.75 points per energy. So you're probably looking at about, right here, just doing the math, just under 10,000 energy if you just want to do this strictly with energy. Keep in mind that we do have a bunch of stuff happening. So you can kind of see here, we got the Player and Play calendar. We will be having we still have the Shredder tournament happening right now. We have a train tournament. We have the Dragon Turn Attack, which is ending at the same time, which is super annoying. And then we have the Ice Golem tournament as well. So if 10,000 energy sounds interesting for you to go into, all these events plus campaign, then you can probably do this without spending any shards. You can probably do 17,300 points without doing any shards. And that's probably the route that I would probably take. Obviously, 10,000 energy is pretty expensive. When you break this down by gems, that's going to cost you about 3,000 gems if you do this strictly with energy. Not totally out of the realm of possibility. I would suggest that probably you would go and try to complete or try to do as much energy as you can into the Shredder tournament and the Dragon Turn Attack, and then see how much points you have afterwards, and then decide whether you want to pull. I wouldn't pull right away today. There's also another way you can kind of get points, and that's going to be with basically money, and then you can just buy the coins itself. So the pack here, you can get 14,500 points for $20 US, equivalent to 3 Sacred Shards. I don't know if that's worth it for you guys. Personally speaking, I mean, if you can find 3 Sacred Shards for, less than $7 each, obviously opening Sacred Shards is worth more than just buying straight up coins. But yeah, this is the relative cost of it all. So this is probably what I'm going to do, 17,300 points. So at least keep me in the running for April. And then we'll have a look at the other events next week to see if it's actually viable to get April. I think most people are passing on her. I'm going to have a showcase coming out today, just showcasing my playtesting on her. And honestly, yeah, I wasn't overly impressed. But hey, you guys can make up your own decisions there. And here's the path if you wanted to get all 400 Titan points. Now, 400 Titan points could be kind of worthwhile if, you're anticipating to skip some events. Obviously, you could potentially skip next week's summon event if you want, or the Deck of Fate. Like I said, you can allocate 250 points. This is only really if you're planning to go for April, but it's going to cost you just under 10 Sacred Shards. It also has 2 filler keys here that you have to get. Unfortunately, so you can, fortunately they're doing us dirty here. You're going to spend an extra 2,000 points, but you're going to be basically going down the minimum path here to get the 160 Titan point, and then you're going to go to the right side, pick up the basalt, pick up the rest of the 80 points here on the side, and then go far left, and then go straight down and pick up the other 160 there. So this is going to give you 400 Titan points, which is pretty significant, right? But you're basically paying 10 Sacred Shards just to not do some events, because the rewards here are just awful. There's really nothing to talk about. So you're basically you're just getting the Titan points here. All right, and following the green path here, if you want to get the 3-star soul. Now, the 3-star soul for Granyt, is okay. But honestly, it's still relatively low value, right? So you're gonna go down the right hand side, get the single key here. As once you hit the key, you're gonna stop, and then you're gonna go down into this third row, go straight down, open the lock here, get the 3-star soul for Granyt. So if you just want the 3-star soul, it's gonna cost you 18,800 points, which is about 4 sacred shards. But if you're going to go here, I highly recommend you get at least the 4-star. The 4-star is going to give him crit damage. And obviously the 5-star is significantly more value because it does give him accuracy as well. So if you wanted to just get his 4-star, you only need 1 key, which means you're probably going to go down this fourth column here, pick up this key, and then just get the 4-star. But if you're going for the 5-star, you probably want to hug the right hand side here, go get the legendary book, and then pick up the 2 key combo here. And this is going to be the cheapest way for you to get 2 keys. You open up all the locks, get the 4-star, and then open up the lock and get the 5-star. And this is your cheapest path for the 5-star soul. If you just care about the 5-star soul, you do pick up 80 Titan points along the way as well, just as kind of collateral. But honestly, 80 Titan points is not significant. You're at this point, this is path for somebody that doesn't care about April at all. And this path to get his 5-star soul is going to cost you just under 17 sacred shards. Now, that is pretty expensive now, but that is kind of in line with how much these kind of events cost. So, right, a 5-star soul expecting to be around 15 to 20 sacred shards, depending on what Plarium feels like. Like we've seen some souls go for as low as 15, 14 maybe. I think for Lady Noel it was 14, and then we got the Christmas free sacred shards, so a slight discount there as well. And then we've seen some souls go for, close to 20 or even more than 20. So 16.8, basically in line, average. You're not getting much along the way. That's also probably part of the equation as well. But honestly, I see no urgency to get this 5-star soul. No urgency. Like, Granyt is a fine champion. He's a good champion even. But I see no urgency to get this. And I don't know who would actually get this. Would whales get this? Unless you're just opening shards because you really want something from the progressive event. Yeah, I just don't see anyone deliberately going out of their way to try to get this 5-star soul. And lastly, the blue path will be the path where you get the 100 mythical mats. So you're going to hug the right hand side, pick up the 1 key here, and then go down all the way down the right hand side and pick up the 2 keys down here. And then you're going to go down the 4th column here and then pick up this key here. And then you have 4 keys, you slide into the 2nd column, and then you just go straight down to the 100 mats at the bottom. That's going to cost you 89,000 points. You're going to pick up 140 time points along the way, which is not enough to keep you in the running for April O'Neil. So you still have to add more points to this just so you can stay in the running for April O'Neil. Really nasty. They did this really deliberately because obviously Krakens, right? If Kraken's going to go for the 100 mythical mats, which they probably would, obviously mythical mats, mythical relics are the Kraken meta right now. If they wanted April O'Neil, they're going to squeeze a little bit more out of those people because they still have to commit to some more points just to get enough Titan points to stay in the running. So 140 Titan points, you're going to pick up 100 mythical mats for just under 20 sacred shards. Now keep in mind that there was a hero's path. I forgot which one. I think it might have been Balar or Crocad. One of those heroes path had 100 mythical mats for 13 sacred shards. Now this burns into my mind because I was like, wow, this is an incredible deal for, relatively speaking, for 100 mythical mats because we've never ever seen it at this price. And ever since then, every time I see 100 mythical mats, it's been 20 sacred shards. It's been at the end of Summon Rush rewards. It's just been really, really nasty. And obviously, when they first released the mythical mats in the Champion Chase, I think it was even cheaper. It was like 5,500 points for Champion Chase, which is super cheap, right? Relative. So now it's just ridiculously expensive now. I guess people are paying for it, right? People are paying for it, so they can charge ridiculous amounts. But yeah, 20 sacred shards for one mythical craft, 20% at the mythical relic, of course, which is just nuts. So anyways, just to recap here, first path is going to be the minimum path that you want to stay here for April, stay around for April's Titan event, stay in the running for it. You still have to complete basically everything coming up. And then we have the second path here, which is picking up all the Titan points, all 400 Titan points here. It's going to cost you 10 sacred shards. And then if you wanted the 3-star soul for Granyt, it's going to cost you 4 sacred shards. If you wanted the 5-star soul, it's going to cost you 17 sacred shards. And if you wanted the 100 mythical mats, it's going to cost you 20 sacred shards. Honestly, I don't see any great value here for doing this, other than, hey, I'm still in the running for April O'Neil. Or, hey, I really want these progressive champions, even though the chance of you pulling the progressive champions is incredibly low. So I think for most people, it's probably just going to be a full skip. Just hold on to your stuff, full skip, get whatever you can with energy over the weekend. If you guys are just grinding the dungeons, the Shredder dungeon, Ice Golem, Dragon dungeon, just use your energy, grind whatever you can, pick up some of the low-hanging fruit, maybe pick up the 3-star Basalt. I would highly recommend. This right here, that's probably going to be the prize for most people. I don't know. And if you want, maybe pick up some of the Titan points, because that equates to some goodies as well somewhere down the line. If you don't care about April, you don't care about the soul, this is going to be a pretty easy weekend for you guys. Just chill, run your energy, hold on to your shards for future event. Now, quick comment here about the Leo and Turtle events and all that stuff. My feeling is that Leo's probably still going to be a Hero's Path. The date's probably just going to be changed. So, we can still anticipate that we're still going to get something for Leo. And I really do feel that if they're going to put Leo and his soul together, it's probably going to be shard related. So holding on to the shards will obviously yield you some value somewhere down the line. At least that is my hope anyways. But it kind of makes sense to me. Now, we do have a progressive event happening right now. So some pretty good champions here. We got Newt, Furo. Yeah, these are good champions, non-void. And then we actually have some pretty good void champions here as well. We got Leo up for grabs, and then we have Vazog here, which is really, sorry, Vlazag, or anyways, they all sound the same, but we have this void, the 2 void Legos here are incredibly good. Khan, not as good as the other 2, but pretty juicy. But if Leo's up for a 15x, but if he's up for a guarantee, you probably want to try for the guarantee instead. Now, Klazag here, this guy might get a little bit of attention as well. From the Void Shard camp, very good champion. But it's so tough to pull these champions, even on progressive events. So I would just stay clear of all this stuff. Save your shards, do what you can with energy, and then just call it a weekend. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for the video. Let me know in the comments below what you guys are planning to do. Appreciate you guys watching until the end. Let me know if I made any mistakes or if you guys see a better path along the way. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys in the next video.